What happens when the most powerful, grief-stricken magic user in the universe finally finds a savior? And what if that savior isn't a hero, but the one man whose ambition is as boundless as her power? Now, this isn't a leaked movie plot or some secret comic you missed. This is a thought experiment. It's the story of what could happen if the Scarlet Witch, at her absolute lowest, fell under the influence of Dr. Doom. This is the story of a partnership that wouldn't just threaten the world, but conquer and rewrite reality itself. This is Avengers Doomsday. A conquest that starts not with a declaration of war, but with a whisper of redemption. At the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda Maximoff brought Mount Wundagore crashing down on top of herself. It seemed to be the end of her reign of terror and her life, a final, desperate act to make things right. The multiverse saw a flash of red energy and then silence. Her official fate in the MCU is still up in the air. We're left with a void of power, of magic, left by a being who could literally rewrite existence. But in the cosmos, a power vacuum that massive doesn't just go unnoticed. It's a dinner bell, especially for a man who has spent his life mastering both science and sorcery, a man who sees every crisis as an opportunity and every empty throne as his own. That man is Victor Von Doom. So how does this catastrophic alliance even begin? First, you have to understand the state of mind of its two architects. Let's imagine Wanda isn't just dead or alive. Imagine her consciousness, first corrupted by the Darkhold and then shattered by its destruction, was scattered across the multiverse like magical shrapnel. She's an echo haunting the pathways of reality, a symphony of chaos magic without a conductor. She is pure raw power, fueled by a grief that never ends, reliving the loss of Pietro, Vision, and her sons, Billy and Tommy, in an infinite nightmare across a million realities at once. Her pain is a constant, screaming beacon on the mystical spectrum. And then there's Doom, the ruler of Latveria, a genius who rivals Reed Richards and a sorcerer second only to the Sorcerer Supreme. Doom's motivation has never been simple villainy. It's his unbreakable, arrogant belief that he and only he can bring order and salvation to humanity. His goal isn't just to rule the world, but to perfect it. He looks at the flawed, chaotic universe, bleeding from the follies of short-sighted heroes, and he's disgusted. Where everyone else sees chaos, Doom sees raw material. From his castle, surrounded by instruments that measure the very heartbeat of reality, Doom detects this anomaly, an immense, chaotic energy signature, bleeding across dimensions. It's the echo of the Scarlet Witch. While others, like Doctor Strange, might see a threat to be neutralized, Doom sees the ultimate key. He recognizes her pain because, in his own twisted way, he shares it. His entire life has been a crusade born from loss and an unending quest to prove he's better than everyone else. Doom doesn't send an army. He doesn't launch a missile. He reaches out with his own incredible mystical power, gathering the shattered pieces of Wanda Maximoff's consciousness. He speaks to her not as a conqueror, but as an equal. He doesn't offer empty sympathies or condemn her for what she did with the Darkhold. Instead, he offers something far more seductive, validation. He tells her that her grief is righteous, that her desire to create a perfect world for her children wasn't madness, but a noble goal corrupted by a cursed book. He tells her the Avengers, with their black and white morality, could never understand the sacrifices needed for true peace. He shows her his own vision. A world without hunger, war, or loss, all held in perfect order by his hand. He offers her a way to redemption that doesn't ask her to forget her pain, but to use it. They want you to atone for breaking their world, he might say, his voice a calm force in her psychic storm. I will help you build a new one, a world where no mother has to lose her children ever again. He offers a partnership, her limitless power to reshape reality, guided by his unmatched intellect and unwavering will. For a soul lost in an eternity of pain, this is more than a lifeline. It's salvation. The alliance is forged, not in fire, but in a quiet moment of understanding between two of the most powerful and broken beings in the universe. Wanda Maximoff has found her savior, and Dr. Doom has found his god. Their conquest doesn't start with invading armies. That's the crude way Thanos would do it. Doom is a strategist, an artist. Their campaign begins as a series of miracles, interventions across the multiverse so carefully chosen they're impossible to argue with. Their actions are broadcast, not on the news, but into the psychic consciousness of every living being, a gospel of their coming reign. Their first stop is Earth 838, the same world where Wanda slaughtered the Illuminati. But they aren't there for revenge. They arrive decades later, in a timeline where humanity is on the brink of extinction, losing a war against a techno-organic alien hive. The last heroes are broken and losing. Doom and Wanda appear in the sky, not as conquerors, but as saviors. With a gesture from Doom, a fleet of impossibly efficient Doombots engages the alien fleet with flawless tactics. But Wanda is the real miracle. Guided by Doom's mind, she reaches into the alien hive mind. She doesn't destroy them. She rewrites their very nature. She finds the instinct for conquest and transforms it into an instinct for nurturing. The monstrous ships halt their attack. The alien soldiers lay down their arms and begin to rebuild the very cities they just destroyed. To the survivors of Earth 838, it's a divine intervention. Doom and Wanda ask for nothing. They simply state that this is the order they bring and then they leave, leaving behind a saved world and a powerful piece of propaganda. Next, they visit a reality being consumed by its own hero's failure. A world where a cure for mutants turned out to be a plague, causing horrific, painful deaths. The X-Men here aren't heroes. They're hospice workers, watching over the slow death of their species. Here, Wanda's work is personal. She, who has been both a hero and a terror to mutants, now becomes their architect. Doom provides the science, a perfect map of the mutant genome, and Wanda provides the power. She reaches across the planet and doesn't just cure the plague, she perfects them. Unstable powers are stabilized. Harmful mutations are eliminated. Every mutant is elevated to their ultimate potential. It's a gift, but a gift with a price. Woven into their newly perfected DNA is a subtle thread of loyalty, a psychic link to the will of Doom and Wanda. They are safe and powerful, but they can never raise a hand against their saviors. Word of these miracles spreads. Back on Earth 616, the Avengers, Doctor Strange, and Captain Marvel watch with a growing sense of dread. They see worlds being saved, but they recognize the terrifying idea behind it. Imposed order, the removal of choice disguised as salvation. They know they have to act. The heroes of Earth 616 track Doom and Wanda to a neutral, empty sector of space where the duo is building a massive citadel, a future throne world. The Avengers arrive not with threats but with a plea. They appeal to the Wanda they knew, the hero who fought beside them. Captain America talks about choice and freedom. Doctor Strange talks about the natural law, the danger of rewriting reality on such a massive scale. Wanda listens, her expression almost pitying. She's no longer the volatile, grieving woman they knew. Strengthened by Doom's absolute certainty, her resolve is like iron. "You speak of freedom," she says, her voice calm and clear. "The freedom to suffer? The freedom to lose your children? Your way has failed. We are offering a better way." Doom stands beside her, arms crossed, his iron mask unreadable. "Your time is over," he states simply. "The age of chaos has ended. The age of doom has begun." The fight is inevitable, and it's a humbling, efficient massacre. Captain Marvel powers up and lunges at Doom. Doom doesn't even move. He raises a hand, and a device on his gauntlet absorbs her cosmic energy and shunts it into a pocket dimension, leaving her powerless and crashing to the ground. Doctor Strange weaves a complex spell, the crimson bands of Sidorak forming in the air. Before he can finish, Wanda simply looks at him. She doesn't counter the spell. She unravels it. The crimson bands turn on Strange himself, not binding him, but severing his connection to the mystic arts, plunging him into a silent, magicless prison in his own mind. The other Avengers are dealt with just as precisely. It's not a fight, it's a disassembly. Doom's strategy and Wanda's power are unbeatable. They don't kill the heroes because Doom knows that martyrs inspire resistance. Instead, they neutralize them in elegant, inescapable prisons, leaving them as monuments to the futility of fighting back. This victory signals a new phase. They stop being subtle. They begin to conquer and assimilate. They arrive at Asgard, not with a fleet, but with an offer. A future free from Ragnarok, a kingdom restored to glory, its people safe forever. All they have to do is swear loyalty to Emperor Doom. Many tired of endless war accept. Those who refuse are put into a timeless sleep to be awakened when the new order is complete. They move on to the great cosmic empires, the Kree, the Skrull, the Shi'ar, integrating their cultures and technologies into Doom's growing empire. Their new domain starts to look a lot like Battleworld, the patchwork reality Doom once created in the comics. But this time, he has a willing partner, a force of nature to power his ambition. At the heart of their new empire, Doom performs his most manipulative act yet. He knows Wanda's one true weakness. Using his science and her chaos magic, he does what she never could. He doesn't create illusions. He plucks the actual consciousness of her sons, Billy and Tommy, from another reality and gives them new, real bodies. They are here. They are real. Wanda can hold them. It's the ultimate gift, but it's also the final chain. Their very existence is now tied to Doom's technology and will. They are princes of this new empire. But they are also hostages, a permanent insurance policy to ensure the Scarlet Witch never wavers. The Doomsday Empire is complete, built on salvation, order, and a mother's unbreakable love. What we're seeing here is more than a power fantasy. It's a look at one of Marvel's biggest themes, the thin line between a savior and a tyrant. Doom genuinely believes he's saving the universe, and on the surface, his results are hard to argue with. But what's the cost of this perfect universe? Before we get into the final desperate battle for reality, let us know in the comments. If you lived in a world saved by Doom and Wanda, would you accept their rule? Is a perfect world without free will still paradise? Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the epic conclusion to this ultimate what if. The Doomsday Empire is silent. It's a universe without conflict, dissent, or choice. But a few embers of free will still glow in the dark. On the edge of conquered space, a desperate resistance forms. Their leader is a figure who understands stories and free will better than anyone. Loki, now the god of stories. As the living anchor of the multiverse, he's watched this tyranny spread like a disease, overriding the very stories he protects. He knows this imposed perfection is a liar story. With only one author is no story at all. Loki starts gathering the survivors. He pulls a grizzled variant Captain America from a timeline where he never went into the ice. A man who has fought for freedom for 100 years. He finds the one team Doom despises and respects above all, the Fantastic Four, rescued from their own dying reality. Reed Richards knows he's the only one who can match Doom's mind. Finally, he recruits a wild card, a version of the Vision, not the one Wanda loved, but one built for pure logic, who calculates that the Doomsday Empire is a threat to all existence. Their plan isn't to win. A straight-up fight is suicide. The plan is to create a crack in the foundation of the Empire. Wanda Maximoff. Reed Richards believes that while Doom's mind guides her, the power is still hers, born from her emotions. If they can just reach the grieving mother beneath the serene Empress, they might make her see the truth of her gilded cage. The plan is a long shot. Loki will use his power to create a massive distraction, an assault on Doom's throne world, New Latveria, from 1,000 points in time and space. Refugee fleets, ghosts of fallen heroes, echoes of past battles, all thrown at Doom's defenses to draw his attention. During the chaos, a small Team Reed, Cap, and the Vision will try to breach the Citadel and confront Wanda directly. It's a final, desperate roll of the dice for the soul of the multiverse. The attack begins. Loki weaves a grand illusion, a multiversal storm of defiance. In his throne room, God Emperor Doom watches the chaos on his monitors with a flicker of what might be annoyance or maybe even fun. He leaves Wanda with their children, telling her he'll handle the rabble. He strides onto his balcony and unleashes his power. He is a god, and he fights like one, turning fleets to dust with a thought and contemptuously waving aside Loki's phantoms. The battle is a spectacle, but the outcome is never in doubt. Doom is in complete control. This is the opening Reed Richards needed. Using tech that lets them phase through reality, the team slips into the palace. They find Wanda in a garden, a perfect copy of a Sokovian field, watching her sons play. She looks at them not with surprise, but with a deep sadness. "You shouldn't have come," she says softly. Captain America steps forward. "Wanda, we didn't come to fight you. We came to remind you of who you are." "I know who I am," she replies, her voice steady. "I am a mother. I am a queen. And I have brought peace." "You've brought silence," Reed corrects her gently. "You've traded freedom for comfort. That's Doom's philosophy, not yours. He's using you." Wanda's serene mask finally cracks. "He saved me!" she snarls, a flash of the old anger in her eyes. "He gave me back my family. Where were you when I lost everything?" That's when the Vision steps forward. He isn't her vision, but he has his memories. He doesn't talk about love or loss. He talks about logic. He projects images for her, not of war, but of the worlds they saved. He shows her the parents on Earth 838 who now look at the sky in fear, waiting for their gods to return. He shows her the perfected mutants, their eyes missing the spark of individuality. Then he shows her data streams, revealing that her children's very existence is hardwired into Doom's control of the Citadel. If Doom's power fails, they vanish. They aren't a gift, they're an anchor. "He did not give you your children," the Vision states, his voice flat but full of truth. "He gave you a more beautiful cage." A more beautiful cage. That's the phrase that breaks her. She looks at her boys, laughing, and for the first time, she sees the invisible strings. She sees her own reflection in Doom's ambition, Westview, the Darkhold. It was all her trying to force her will on reality to soothe her own pain. Doom didn't save her from that. He magnified it and weaponized it. She wasn't his partner, she was his engine. Just as Doom dismisses the last of Loki's army, he feels a tremor in his own power. He turns to see Wanda in the doorway of the throne room, her eyes no longer serene, but burning with crimson fire. "You lied to me," she whispers, and the entire Citadel groans. Doom's arrogance holds. "I gave you everything," he bellows. "A perfect universe. Your sons. You gave me a prison," she retorts, her power rising like a tidal wave. "You took my grief and built an empire on it." She knows what she has to do. Just killing Doom isn't enough. His order is now woven into the fabric of reality. To fix it, she has to pull the entire tapestry apart. It will take every ounce of her power and more. She looks at her children one last time, a single tear running down her cheek. She loves them, but she knows they aren't real, not in the way that matters. They are a beautiful lie, and she is done with lies. She raises her hands, and a new phrase forms on her lips. More powerful than "no more mutants," more absolute than any spell from the Darkhold, a declaration of ultimate cosmic denial. No more doom. The energy that erupts from her isn't an attack. It's an uncreation. The Citadel dissolves into red static. Across their empire, the changes are reversed. Mutants feel the spark of free will return. The worlds they saved are restored to their messy, imperfect histories. The Avengers are freed. It is as if the Doomsday Empire never existed. But the power to erase a god's work demands a matching sacrifice. The energy consumes her. She isn't dying. She is being unwritten from reality itself. Her physical form dissolves, her consciousness erased from every timeline, every memory. The last thing Reed Richards sees is a faint, sad smile, and then she's gone. The multiverse is saved, but it's scarred and silent. The heroes won, but there's no one to thank. The Scarlet Witch is gone. Not just dead, but erased from existence. A ghost of a whisper in the cosmos. Her final act was true redemption, sacrificing her life and her memory to give everyone else back their freedom to choose, to suffer, and to live. And Doom? He's cast adrift in the void between realities, stripped of his godhood, but alive. His armor is battered, his empire is dust, but his will is unbroken. He floats in the nothingness, his ambition burned into a cold, hard singularity. He was denied his perfect universe. He was rejected. And for that, he will have his vengeance. Doomsday was averted, but the threat of doom is eternal, and now it's personal. The universe is free, but that freedom came at an infinite cost. A reminder that the path to paradise is often paved by tyrants, and sometimes the only escape is an impossible, forgotten sacrifice.